A CEO orders food at his own restaurant, only to overhear something that will change everything he thought he knew about his business. What happens next is nothing short of shocking. Alex Carter, the CEO of Carter Bistrot, sits in his expansive, well-appointed office, the weight of responsibility clearly on his shoulders. His fingers gently tap against the polished desk, his eyes scanning the reports in front of him. Monthly performance reviews, financial updates, customer feedback. His expression is thoughtful but distant, as if the numbers no longer provide the satisfaction they once did. Carter Bistrot was his creation, an upscale chain of restaurants built on the foundation of fine dining, excellence, and a reputation for quality. It had grown beyond his wildest dreams, expanding into cities nationwide with a loyal, high-end clientele. But Alex feels increasingly disconnected from the company he built. He's not sure where the shift occurred, but something feels out of place. He leans back in his chair, staring at the wall of accolades surrounding him. For a moment, there's a flash of doubt in his eyes, a brief flicker of uncertainty that clouds his usually confident demeanor. CEO, speaking softly to himself. It's time to see things for myself. His decision is quiet but resolute. He stands up, grabs his jacket, and adjusts his tie with deliberate precision. As he walks toward the door, his expression hardens, determination replacing the doubt. The time for business as usual is over. Today, everything changes. The scene shifts to the outside of a busy city street. The sleek exterior of Carter Bistrot gleams under the streetlights, its windows reflecting the hustle and bustle of the night. Alex walks up to the entrance, dressed casually in a cap and sports clothes, aiming to avoid recognition. Completely different from his usual high-powered CEO persona. His gait is purposeful, his expression still filled with that characteristic intensity. He pauses for a moment before stepping inside, his heart rate picking up ever so slightly as he prepares to confront the truth. Inside, the restaurant is alive with energy. The clatter of silverware and soft chatter fills the air, creating an atmosphere of warmth and luxury. The mood is lively, but Alex's eyes are sharp, his gaze scanning the room, quietly observing the staff as they work. His hand instinctively moves to his pocket, checking his phone as a sense of unease creeps in. He knows he's here for more than just a meal tonight. He takes a deep breath and looks around. The space, once familiar, feels different tonight. There's something off about it, an undercurrent of tension. The servers, usually composed and professional, seem to be rushing through their duties with an almost mechanical efficiency. Hostess, smiling nervously. Right this way, sir. She leads him to a table near the back. As they pass a table near the front, Alex notices a young black couple being seated. The hostess greets them, but there's a quickness to her words that feels distant, almost dismissive. Alex's eyes narrow slightly, but he says nothing. As they walk further into the restaurant, Alex notices one waiter, James, who stands out from the others. He's engaged, smiling genuinely, interacting with customers with care. There's a noticeable difference in how James carries himself compared to the other staff. He makes eye contact with customers, laughing lightly with them, giving them the impression that they are more than just patrons. They matter. Alex, thinking to himself, there's something different about this guy. The hostess seats Alex at a quiet table near the back. As she walks away, Alex glances around the room, continuing his quiet observations. The energy feels colder now, less welcoming. He watches as a white customer sits at a table, greeted warmly by a different waiter who showers them with attentiveness, almost to the point of overzealousness. Alex, leaning back, speaking softly, "Water, please." The waiter nods and walks off, but Alex's gaze lingers, noticing the contrast in service. The other waiters, there's a distance in their smiles, the quick exchanges, like they're not really present with the customers. It's subtle, but undeniable. As James approaches his table again to check on him, his smile is warm and genuine. Alex watches him for a moment before speaking. James, smiling warmly. "How are we doing tonight, sir? Can I get you anything else?" Alex, nodding slightly. "Just the water for now, thanks." James walks away, and Alex's gaze follows him. It's clear that James connects with every customer, treating them as more than just patrons. His interactions feel real. But it's different with the rest of the waitstaff. They're mechanical, almost robotic in comparison. Alex, thinking to himself, why does it feel like they're being treated differently? The discomfort in the air grows as Kyle, a manager, walks past the table of a black customer and doesn't even acknowledge them. Instead, Kyle approaches a nearby table of white customers with a smile, chatting with them as if they were old friends. The stark contrast is unmistakable. The atmosphere has shifted. Alex, thinking to himself, this isn't right. It's subtle, but it's there. I've never noticed it before. His heart rate increases slightly. A wave of unease washes over him. He looks down at his phone, his fingers tapping nervously on the screen. A deep frustration starts to build. He watches James again, smiling and engaging with every customer, his service impeccable. But it's clear that not all customers are being treated the same way. Alex knows he has to stay focused. This dinner wasn't just about the food. It was about understanding the culture of his restaurant, the one he'd built. And what he was seeing wasn't aligning with the values he once instilled. As the minutes pass, Alex sits at the table, the ambiance of the restaurant surrounding him, but his focus never wavers. The energy in the room becomes increasingly palpable, like an invisible weight pressing down on him. The noise of clinking glasses, hushed laughter, and low conversation feels distant, as if it's happening in a world separate from the one he's currently occupying. His eyes keep returning to the subtle exchanges between the waitstaff and the customers, noticing every small nuance, every little moment that betrays the underlying tension. A familiar face walks past him, Kyle, the manager. He's always been the go-to person for any issues. Alex had always thought of him as a reliable figure, one who embodied the corporate values of Carter Bistrot. But tonight, he sees something entirely different in Kyle's behavior. Kyle walks over to the black couple he passed earlier and barely acknowledges them. The glance is almost dismissive. Then, without missing a beat, he walks over to a nearby table of white customers, his face lighting up with a beaming smile. Kyle, laughing with the customers. How's everything going here, folks? The lobster bisque is a must tonight. Alex's jaw tightens. He can feel the frustration rising in him, but he forces himself to stay composed, to remain in his seat and observe. His fingers tap against the table, betraying the tension inside him. The contrast couldn't be clearer, couldn't be more painful to watch. The black couple is left unnoticed, while the white customers are treated like royalty. As Kyle moves away, Alex catches James again, offering a warm, attentive smile to yet another table. Alex watches him as he effortlessly interacts with each customer. James doesn't just take orders, he connects, he listens, he treats people with dignity. It's as if the entire room, despite its chaotic energy, revolves around him. Alex, thinking to himself, why is it so different with him? Why is the atmosphere so warm with James and so cold with everyone else? The more Alex watches, the clearer it becomes. There's a divide in how people are treated here. The problem isn't with the food, the quality of the dishes, or even the staff's skill. It's the atmosphere, the unspoken divisions that exist within the restaurant, and it's starting to make him sick. Minutes later, James returns to Alex's table, his expression unchanged, still full of genuine care. James, smiling warmly, "How's everything going? Can I get you anything else?" Alex, leaning back slightly, "Everything's fine for now, thank you." But Alex can't stop his eyes from wandering back to Kyle, who's now standing by the bar, chatting with the bartender. The easy smile on Kyle's face contrasts with a sharp, uncomfortable feeling settling in Alex's gut. Alex, thinking to himself, This isn't just bad service. This is something deeper. It's then that Alex overhears a conversation from a table near him. The voices are low, but just loud enough for him to catch snippets of the discussion. A young woman seated at the bar is talking to one of the waitstaff. Woman, laughing lightly. "Did you see how the manager was with that black couple? It's so obvious they don't belong here. They should know their place." The words hit Alex like a punch to the gut. He freezes for a moment, his entire body tense. He can barely breathe. The words aren't just offensive. They are a mirror of the exact behavior he had been seeing all night. The unspoken racism, the unequal treatment, It's all there, and it's been happening under his very nose. Alex thinking to himself, no, this isn't how Carter Bistrot should be. This is unacceptable. He stands abruptly, the chair scraping against the floor. His heart pounds in his chest as he heads straight for the manager's office. The scene outside the office is almost too familiar. The same polished brass, the same framed awards on the wall. But today it feels different. It feels like a betrayal. Alex knocking on the door. Kyle, we need to talk, now. There's a moment of silence before Kyle opens the door. His face is relaxed, though a hint of surprise flickers in his eyes when he sees Alex standing there, dressed casually in his sports clothes. Kyle, smiling confused. Alex, didn't expect to see you here tonight. Everything okay? Alex, his voice hard but controlled. Everything's fine. I just saw something I didn't expect. Or maybe, something I should have expected. Kyle, chuckling nervously. What are you talking about? Alex, voice steady but cold. Racism, Kyle. Unacceptable treatment of customers. This isn't what Carter Bistrot is supposed to be about. Kyle, nervously laughing. Alex, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no racism here. We treat everyone the same. Alex, his voice rising. Don't lie to me. I saw it with my own eyes. You treat people differently based on their skin color. And that ends tonight. There's a long pause as the words hang in the air, thick with the weight of truth. Kyle's face pales slightly, and he opens his mouth, but no words come out. Alex, stepping forward, his anger barely contained. I don't want to hear any excuses. This is a betrayal of everything this company stands for. You're fired, Kyle. Kyle, stammering. But, Alex, I've been with you for years. You can't. Alex, cutting him off. No, I can. I have to. Kyle stands in stunned silence, his face a mixture of confusion and shame. Alex watches him for a moment, not with satisfaction, but with a sense of loss. This wasn't just the firing of a manager. It was the realization that the very culture he built had been corrupted. The restaurant, which was once a symbol of elegance, had become something much darker. Alex, calmly, get your things, you're done here. The scene fades out as Kyle leaves the office, his departure heavy with finality. Alex remains in the office, his back to the door, taking a deep breath, trying to process everything he's seen tonight. The restaurant he built had always been a dream, a place where customers felt special. But now Alex knows the truth. The work to fix this, to rebuild a culture of equality and respect, will be long and difficult. The next day, the atmosphere at Carter Bistrot is charged with an air of quiet uncertainty. Word of Kyle's firing has already spread through the staff, but there's no celebration, no relief. Instead, the restaurant feels like a ship caught in a storm, everyone unsure of what will come next. Alex walks through the restaurant, his presence commanding, but his mind is elsewhere. He had spent the night thinking, reflecting on everything he had witnessed. This wasn't just a problem with a single manager. It was a systemic issue, something embedded deeper within the restaurant's culture. He approaches James, the waiter who had stood out to him, the one who treated every customer with respect and warmth. Alex, gently but with purpose. James, can I talk to you for a minute? James, smiling, though with an inquisitive look. Of course, Mr. Carter. Alex, nodding, motioning to a quiet corner. Let's step outside for a moment. They walk outside, the cool air feeling refreshing, almost cleansing. Alex looks at James, his face filled with gratitude and concern. He has no illusions. Changing the culture will take more than just firing one person. It will take rebuilding from the ground up. Alex, sincerely. James, I've seen how you interact with the customers, how you make them feel seen. You know the others. They could learn a lot from you. James, smiling humbly. Thank you, Mr. Carter. I just try to do my job the best I can. Alex, pausing, his expression serious. No, James, it's more than that. You're not just doing your job. You're making people feel valued, heard. The others, I don't know what happened, but it's not what this place was meant to be. This place was always about excellence in service and hospitality, but somewhere along the way, we lost sight of the most important thing. We stopped seeing people for who they are. James, his eyes narrowing with understanding. I get it. The vibe's been off lately. You can feel it, right? It's not just the food, it's everything. It's how the staff acts around certain customers. Alex nodding, his voice growing firm. Exactly. And I need to change that. I need help. I need to make sure that every single person who walks through those doors feels respected, no matter who they are. No exceptions. James, his voice strong but calm. Well, you've got me. Whatever you need. I've been here long enough to know that this place can be great again. But it starts with us, as a team. We can't expect change if we don't lead by example. Alex, smiling, a weight lifting from his shoulders. That's exactly what I need to hear. We're going to fix this, James, and it starts today. Weeks of hard work follow, meetings, training sessions, and difficult conversations. Alex brings in a diversity consultant to help reshape the restaurant's culture. But it's not just about talk, it's about action. The staff begins to interact differently, genuinely engaging with customers. And Alex knows it's time for a change in leadership. One evening, after another busy night, Alex approaches James, standing by the bar. He watches as James interacts with customers, his warmth now contagious. The entire staff has begun to adopt his approach. Alex to James with purpose. James, I need you to step up. You're not just a waiter, you're the kind of leader this place needs. From now on, you're the manager of Carter Bistrot. James, surprised but honored. Wow. Thank you, Mr. Carter. I'll do my best. Alex, smiling. I know you will. Let's make this place what it was always meant to be. As James takes on his new role, the restaurant begins to thrive again. The warm energy is back, and the atmosphere is transformed. Kyle's absence is no longer felt. The changes both in leadership and culture have taken root, and the restaurant is on the right path once more. Alex watches the transformation, knowing this is just the beginning. Leadership isn't about power, it's about trust, respect, and understanding. And with James leading the charge, Carter Bistro is ready for its next chapter.